Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a business leader or an operator right now, and you're dealing with that incredibly frustrating gap between a flawless AI demo and a completely stalled, messy implementation, well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is you're absolutely not alone. Today, we're diving into a massive reality check. The core theme we're unpacking here, your business wants AI, but your workflow, well, your workflow wants therapy. We're going to explore exactly why so many of these implementations hit a brick wall, and more importantly, how you can actually fix it.
To really grasp this, we have to look at the sheer scale of the problem. According to a 2025 analysis by the RAND Corporation, a whopping 80.3% of AI projects failed to deliver their intended business value. I mean, let that sink in for a second. Over 8 out of 10 projects. That is a massive failure rate. We are talking about wasted budgets, deeply frustrated teams, and all these quietly abandoned projects gathering digital dust. But why is it happening at such an alarming scale?
Well, compounding that staggering statistic is some vital research from Gartner. They found that 73% of failed AI projects lacked an agreed definition of success before they even started. Think about how that plays out in the real world. Organizations are going out buying this incredibly sophisticated technology, plugging it in, and literally just hoping for the best. They haven't actually defined what a win looks like for their specific operations. Honestly, it's a perfect recipe for exactly the kind of friction and widespread disappointment we're seeing.
Which brings us to the real kicker. This is a deeply unsettling yet incredibly illuminating truth from our source material. AI didn't break your workflow, it just made the break visible. I really want you to hold on to that concept. None of the friction you're experiencing is actually the AI's fault. The uncomfortable reality, your workflow was already broken long before the technology ever arrived. The AI just walked in and showed it to you at lightning speed.
So, let's take a look at the expectation versus the reality of how this usually goes down.
We all know the expectation, right? You get a pristine software demo, a super persuasive pitch, and these highly reasonable, attractive ROI estimates. But then, the operational reality hits. The AI immediately slams into serious roadblocks. It needs a clear handoff point, but there isn't one. It needs an owner for exceptions, but nobody is named. It needs consistent data, but your inputs are all over the place. And suddenly, your shiny new game-changing project just grinds to a complete, absolute halt.
Let me be crystal clear about what happens when you ignore those roadblocks. If you build AI on a broken workflow, you do not get automation. You just get a faster version of the same problem. Layering sophisticated technology on top of untested assumptions or informal, messy processes doesn't fix your underlying chaos. It literally just accelerates it. The AI arrives, looks at your workflow, and essentially says, I have absolutely no idea what to do here because your rules don't make sense. And honestly, your workflow's been saying that for years. It's just that nobody was listening until the AI stopped working.
Okay, so how do we start diagnosing this pre-existing dysfunction?
Well, when the AI stops working, it's usually surfacing dysfunctions your business has probably been quietly working around for years. For instance, if a key step is shared across multiple people with no single accountable owner, the AI is just going to stop. It cannot paper over those ownership gaps. The exact same goes for inconsistent data. Messy inputs just produce messy outputs, only way faster. And crucially, it exposes missing handoff designs.
I want to focus on that last point for a second because it is absolutely vital. A true handoff requires explicit logic governing the transfer of work. Saying, just pass it to Sarah when you're done is not a handoff. AI requires explicit rules to function. It doesn't have your company's informal institutional memory. It doesn't know what Sarah prefers, and it can't just tap her on the shoulder at her desk to ask what to do next. It needs documented binary logic to move from step A to step B.
Now, getting past this requires a major mindset shift, which is all about the diagnostic reframe.
You see, discovering these messy operational realities is absolutely not a failure. Actually, scratch that. It is a massive success. It's literally the entire point. A well-run AI rollout surfaces dysfunction early, so you can fix it cleanly. Doing this puts you in a vastly stronger competitive position than businesses that are just patching their problems with extra headcount and manual, exhausting workarounds.
And you don't just have to take my word for it. The data absolutely backs this up. McKinsey found that organizations which redesign their end-to-end workflows before selecting AI tools are twice as likely to see significant returns compared to those who just jump straight to buying the tech. That is a 2x higher return simply for doing the operational groundwork first. It proves without a doubt that workflow clarity is a strict precondition for AI investment, not an afterthought.
So the rule of thumb going forward has to be workflow first, then AI.
Omnisenti treats this implementation process as a rigorous operational design problem. It's like a giant puzzle. You start by mapping the entire workflow completely. Then, you explicitly design the handoff logic. Once that's crystal clear, you have to name a specific owner for every single step and map out exactly what happens during exceptions. Only after all of that groundwork is laid do you actually build the AI. And listen, this isn't just bureaucratic red tape. It is a strict, non-negotiable foundation that makes the AI actually useful in the real world.
I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to take back to your own teams. When we look at all of this, the 80% failure rates, the missing handoffs, the double returns for doing it right, the real question isn't whether your workflow is ready for AI. The much better question is, are you honestly willing to fix the dysfunctions that the AI brings to light? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep looking closely at those workflows, and I'll catch you next time.